And what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature world beyond compare. Well, here we are in the basement of Dave Heisey in Myerstown, Pennsylvania, and we've been treated to a very special Christmas display here this year, Dave. You've taken the downstairs and made it into a miniature world beyond explanation. I'll tell you, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's like a childhood dream come true.
It is. It's like going back and being 6 years old again here, you know?
Yeah, we certainly love our trains and we love our model cars.
Yeah, no doubt. A miniature world here in Myerstown.
That's right.
And, of course, I know this just didn't fall together, Dave. You've been involved in modeling for many, many years, but what we're looking at today, especially the train layout here, about how long does it really take to put something like this together?
Well, this has been running for about 3 years, off and on. We've been trying to put this thing together. Originally, my theme was Santa Claus is coming to town. We have him on the back of the hook and ladder truck here. Originally in Lebanon, PA, where I was born and raised, that's the way they always ran the parade up in Lebanon. They had bands, you know, leading the group coming through Lebanon, and they had the radio truck or the telephone truck or whatever you want to call it, the TV truck.
Yeah.
In the parade, they had the mayor, and they always had Miss Pennsylvania or whatever, some celebrity in there. And we thought we'd lead them in the parade. So they're going in town, and they're going to drop Santa off at the Cracker Jack building up on the 3rd floor. So it's just about what we used to do in Lebanon County. So.
Well, you know, Dave, especially Christmas time is a time for memories of Christmas past.
Right.
And of course, we always remember the fun times, especially when we were just a youngster and experiencing the innocence of the Christmas season.
Sure.
But most occasions, those thoughts are in your head. What you've done is brought those thoughts out of your head and miniaturized them here as to what happened to you when you were just a youngster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We used to go to these different department stores in Lebanon County, and they always had train displays in the windows and so on, and that's what just inspired me. I thought, well, you know, I have the room here in the basement. We started this a couple years ago, and I was looking through a couple of my slides that I had that my father had taken when I was younger, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to try and relive part of this again, you know, as crazy as it seems, but like I said, it is, it's a neat thing. And today we had an open house. We invited some people over, and matter of fact, the basement was full of people. And they stayed here for about a good hour, maybe an hour and a half, and they enjoyed what they saw.
Oh, I don't see how they could come away not enjoying this. I'm sure the young kids are filled with excitement as they look at the miniature world, but the old-timers that come here, they have to feel like you, that they're looking back into the past.
You can see that gleam in their eyes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That's great. Now, I guess we're actually looking at 3 levels of display here. Maybe you could explain, starting with the lower level, what is it that we're looking at here?
Okay, the lower level is all Marx. That's what I started with when I started playing with trains again. I had left most of my trains that I had when I was a child. I traded it, unfortunately, for slot car racing equipment at the time, and I thought it was a great move. But in later years, I thought, wow, I really made a big mistake.
Wow. Yeah.
But anyway, we started up with Marx, and I restored some things on the lower level here from Marx. We have tin buildings on the display, and we also have some tin trains and whatnot that we run on the lower level. And originally we started out with like a 3-foot by 20-foot train layout, which was against the wall, and that's what we had for years, and we just ran the Marx trains there, and I also had people over to see those run at that time. And that brought a lot of oohs and ahs because it was old, it was Marx trains. So we moved on to Lionel and K-Line. The second level is all Lionel that we run up here, and Bachmann. We have a Bachmann Hudson engine that we run on the wide radius here. And also, what is unique about this layout is my wife, 1 year ago, won the 3rd level train layout up in Lebanon, PA, the train garden set they called it.
Yeah.
And when I was working on this train layout in the basement, Christmas Eve is when she got the call that she won this train layout.
Wow.
One ticket that she bought, and we got this figure 8 and also 2 loops on the outside. It was a little bit different. We changed some things on it. We tried to keep it as much as we possibly could from when we won this thing. But that thing was in my living room for about 3-4 months. And finally my wife said enough is enough. So we transferred it from the living room to the 3rd level on our train layout.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's what you see now.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is really unbelievable how these things have come about, you know, with
Yeah.
this train stuff.
Now on the lower level, Dave, the Marx is Marx.
Yes, Marx.
Now maybe you could date that for us. What era are we looking at?
I'd say it's back in the 40s and 50s, that time period. The road race set that we have over here, those are really old tin cars, and I would say that they're wind-up slot cars. They're not like the electric slot cars that we raced in the 60s. But I know that I would say that that's probably in the late 50s, I would say.
How about that? 40s and 50s with the trains and the cars. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then when we move up to the second level in the Lionel that we see, can you date those for us?
I'm still
also?
trying to stay in that time period. If you look at the vehicles that are on the layout, I think there's nothing newer than a 61 car on the level. We tried to keep it the 50s and 60s because that was really a great time for me. I grew up in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you look at this, most of these vehicles on the train layout have been restored. The Tootsie Toy trucks are metal, and I have a couple Hubley here that were kind of rare. There's a Marx taxi cab here. Different makes and brands that we put on the layout. We tried to stay with the metal because that's what I grew up with when I was a kid.
Now, Dave, is it hard to find these original pieces today? I expect that you've collected them a second time around now, that not all these are things that you saved from your childhood.
Right. I was fortunate enough, Jim, to step up to the plate and buy them over again. And like I said, sometimes you would run across a good deal. Of course, you couldn't pass it up. So, but there are some things that I paid dearly for. But like I said, I think it's all well worth it when I look at what I have here and,
absolutely.
and running this and the people's expressions on their faces when they see it run.
Now, in addition to the static dioramas that we see here, there's also some moving dioramas that I see. Skaters and skiers and things like that. Tell us about those.
Those Marilyn had purchased for me when we first moved down here. We were moving in here in the early mid-70s, I'd say it was mid-70s. We moved into Myerstown, and she would get me certain Christmas things that I could kind of relate to, and we'd set them up. We'd put them underneath the tree. Yeah. So we incorporated it with the train layout. I thought, well, we'll keep that same theme. It's a winter scene, and we just had a light dusting of snow throughout the whole layout.
Yeah.
And we kept it with the skiers, and we have the deer hunters. Now the deer hunters were really a different setup. I bought that at Murdoch's right down here at Sinking Springs. It was damaged and they couldn't get it to work. So I brought it home. I got it for half price. And I brought it home, I repaired it, and I was able to get it to work again. And the same thing with the skiers. The skiers were not working. So we lucked out. Like I said, that some of that stuff we paid dearly for it, and then the other stuff we got, you know, at a reasonable price.
Yeah. So. Now the display that Maryland was able to win, as you say, last year. Right. I heard you talking about one of the trains being the Wabash?
Wabash, yes.
Okay. Now,
Wabash diesel passenger train. And it just came out a couple of years ago. And like I said, they had that train on the layout. And they also had one of the trains that was similar to the Polar Express running on the layout. And what you see, the trolley car that we're running downtown was actually on the inside loop of this train layout.
Oh, really?
So we were able to incorporate that. I wanted to have something running in the town as far as a trolley goes or something like that, some kind of small locomotive running on the inside of the town.
Yeah, and that looks great, just driving around town, dropping passengers off at the Paramount Theater.
Right, there you go. They're going to go see John Wayne and True Grit.
Isn't that something else, man? And then we could take some Planters peanuts in there.
Yes,
with us.
exactly. You can walk down the street and fill your pockets with peanuts. So.
Now, when we talk about Planters peanuts, of course, their home base was up in northeastern Pennsylvania, and of course, you remember back then. I believe in some of your early involvement in scale modeling, you actually were up there in the Planters building, weren't you, competing or somewhere near there?
I went up there just to nosy. We were never able to get inside the building, but I know my parents loved peanut butter or peanut brittle.
Brittle, yeah.
Yeah, and we used to go to a place in Pottsville called the Peanut Shop. And they recommended that we go see the Planters Peanuts in Scranton, you know.
Oh, okay.
So
Mr. Peanut.
Mr. Peanut was the thing, and like I said, I know actually the peanut place that we used to go in Pottsville moved to Port Clinton, and they're now in Port Clinton, and we were able to go there a couple of months ago and stock up on some peanut brittle and some candy and whatnot. So. That was also a time warp for myself.
How about that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, we saw everything working. It took a little while to get everything running, to get it all started up and going in the right direction. Now, is this something you can turn it on and forget about it, or does it require constant, you know, I'm not saying maintenance, but overlooking it to make sure everything's okay?
I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on it. I just... I can run these trains for hours on end, but like I said, I don't like to do it. I can run them for like 3 or 4 hours if I have to.
Right.
Like I said, but I have to keep after the trains, as you said, you know, the maintenance end of it.
Yeah.
But as far as just letting them run, I try and set it up that they're at a half decent speed that we can keep them running. Yeah. And I don't have to doctor them up all the time. You know, the ones that we run on the second level, they're a little more expensive locomotives, and I don't like to leave those running by themselves in case something would go amiss.
Well, we saw you at the control panel back there. At times, a look of seriousness as you're, you know, checking, make sure everything's running right. Right. But then the good old smile comes along.
Oh, you know? Yeah. When things are running smoothly, man, I got it from ear to ear.
Now, we did hear what appeared to be a modern kind of technology. Sounded like, you know, radio calls and things like that. Right. I can't remember that back in the 50s and 60s.
No, that's a later locomotive with the new controls inside it. What happens is now a lot of these trains that you buy today, they're made in China and so on, but they have the modern electronics, and they actually talk to you. Wow. And of course the bells and whistles are still there yet, and the smoke units. Yeah. But it's neat to have them that they can stop. Today there were a few little ones here today. We had a bench out front here that they could stand, and I purposely stopped the locomotive in front of them and gave them the spiel with the talking.
Yeah.
And they just looked at it. Their eyes were big as half dollars.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah.
So it's neat to have that on the train layout.
How about that?
It really is.
Now, we did see the locomotive smoking as it went around the track, and in the old days, I guess you used to put pills or something
you
like
used to
that.
put tablets in them
tablet.
or liquid. I use the liquid.
Yeah. Does it still work that way today?
Yes, I think that you can use the tablets. I'm not sure exactly. The ones that I use a liquid type smoke that works very well for me.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's neat. Like you say, you have to stop every so often and put a couple drops of smoke in it and then let her go.
Yeah. Well, you know, it doesn't have to be Christmas time to enjoy this miniature world down here, that's for sure. This is something that I'm sure you can enjoy year-round.
Oh, yeah, this is really great because I can come down here in the summertime, and if it's hot outside, I can look at this and cool off.
Your winter scene.
Yeah.
Santa comes to town here, no doubt about it.
I'll say winter just around the corner.
Yeah. Of course, it occupies considerable floor space here downstairs. How long is it going to be in the configuration that we see now? What's your expectation?
I would like to keep this for about another 3 years or so and then move on. My idea is probably to shorten the layout both in length and width and make it that you can walk out around it. That's my plan. I'm already thinking of how I want to lay out my business, my buildings and so on already. I know it sounds crazy, but
it's always a work in progress.
Oh,
huh?
yeah, my wheels are always turning. I love the building of the model cars, which really keeps me occupied in my mind.
Yeah.
And also the trains, you know. I know that my wife always knows where I'm at downstairs, and God bless her. You know, I have a good wife. She lets me do this, and like I said, she always knows where I'm at.
Yeah,
so.
no doubt about it. You sort of get lost in your world down here, don't you?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not getting any younger, and boy, when I look at this, it brings back a lot of memories.
Now, of course, the story of what you do in the scale model world has been picked up by some of the local media now,
Yes.
I understand. And you were telling me we've had articles in the newspaper and recently a TV piece, right?
Yes, we did. We had Out and About with Chuck Rhodes from Channel 27 News, and he also was here for not quite 2 hours, taping and videoing and interviewing me and going through my ritual, what I do with a model car. And it was a 3-minute segment on Channel 27 News that they ran on it.
Yeah.
But it was a nice article, very, very smooth and professional, you know.
And of course, I understand after that ran, you get calls from people and they say, wow, I saw you on TV, huh?
Yeah, it is strange. They'll call with anything that you know, people that I don't even know, but I got a call the other day, and a guy was asking me about a Mustang that it was a toy, and it was a gas-powered Mustang, and I said, buddy, I said, I hate to tell you this, I said, but I really don't know what you're talking about, but I said, if I'd find somebody that would be able to help you out, maybe I could get your number and forward it to you, you know, and let you deal with him, you know. So, but I mean, you meet all kinds of people. A lot of people call you and they'll say, hey, I want this car built, you know, can you build this before Christmas, you know, and why not? And I said, whoa.
No.
I said, it's just not going to happen. So
if it was that easy, as they say, Dave, everybody would do it themselves. And
exactly.
It takes skill, patience, a lot of special skills and abilities to do all this. Yeah. Now, as you look out over this vast display that you have, is there one little area on it, a special piece or whatever that you might want to say is sort of like your favorite? Is there a way to pick out a favorite on it, or is the whole thing?
Well, I think that if I had to pick out my favorite, I guess it would probably be the Ford dealership. My daughter got me that for one Christmas, and it has a rotating turntables inside the showroom and whatnot. It's really a neat piece. And like I said, every little bit on the layout is special to me. like I said, the parade was probably one of the better things that I thought of
Yeah.
when we were building this thing. And it was fortunate enough that I was able to get the Little Lead people, the marching bands and so on, in scale
Yeah.
to put on the layout.
That's
you know?
cool. That's
So-
cool. Now you speak of lead, you know, of
Mm-hmm.
course today we know that they're against the lead and
Oh,
lead
yeah.
paint and things
Yeah.
like that. But I guess it mustn't be that bad if we were able to grow up as good as we did here, huh?
Oh, damn, I'll tell you what, this, I probably had a lead painted crib,
I'm sure.
and I'm sure every bit of bicycles that I had and scooters and wagons also had lead paint in them also.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I know I wouldn't trade that time for anything. You
Absolutely
know.
not.
It was a great time.
No doubt.
So
Well, Dave, we certainly want to thank you for inviting us to take a look at this very impressive display, and we want to congratulate you on the time and effort that you put into it, because it is just a terrific looking piece, no doubt.
well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I love to hear people come down and then comment about it and so
Yeah.
on. And that's when I see them leave with a smile on their face, I know it was a good trip.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, if you would ever want to feel like you're 10 years old once again, get in touch with Dave and take a journey through his miniature magical Wonderland.